Shebekov, and I'm a Moscow-based cityscape and architecture photographer. And this is my review of Irix 11mm f4 lens for full-frame cameras. A little disclaimer: although I am Irix brand ambassador, they didn't ask me and they didn't pay me to do this review, so I will be biased as possible. I was using this lens for about 4 to 5 months, and I can tell you this is a brilliant piece of engineering. This is great lens. Let me start with a build quality. I have a Firefly version of this lens, which is 730 grams, and it's made of plastic. But the build quality is really solid. I mean, everything is, there's precise, there's no gaps, everything feels smooth and, like robust. And it feels like a really great lens, like a professional looking and feel lens. So who this lens for? I believe that the best use of this lens is for the landscape, cityscape, architecture and astrophotography, which I will be talking about later on. Obviously you can use this lens for any other photos genre, but I think the landscape, cityscape, architecture and astro are the best use, and I think the most popular use of will be use of this lens. Let me talk a little bit about the sharpness. I can show you the example of my work with this lens, and I can tell you this is really sharp lens. Sharp in the middle, there's a small softness at the very end of the frame edge. Also, Irix has a very good lens profile in Lightroom, so you can use to correct some vignetting as well. Let me talk about 5 features which I found really great in this lens. First, I don't know if you can hear that, or obviously can't see this, but there is like a small groove underneath the focus ring, and it's set on infinity, which means without even looking at the lens, in the darkness or somewhere, where you can access the back of your screen, of your camera screen, you can just hear and feel that there is like a focus is set on the groove and is precisely on infinity focus, which is brilliant. I think it's a brilliant feature. Another feature is the lock mechanism, so you can lock it further by rotating this ring. It's a little bit tight, but it locks perfectly the focus ring, and you just could not, miss or move this focus ring. It's also a really great feature. Another one, it's concerning the ND filters. To my knowledge, there is no ND filters from Irix, and only one ND filter holder from a company called Nisi, which is for 180mm square ND filters. But you can have a plastic back lens filters here, so you can insert here, and they are plastic. They are not as good as the glass ND filters, but at least it's a solution. Fourth feature is the manual focus adjustment. This is another great feature. As you can see here, you have a plate with the one screw, so you unscrew this and take away the plate, and there is a small screw there, and you can screw it on and off to have a precise focus calibration for your lens. I don't think any other lens except Sigma give you ability to manually focus this without going to a service shop, but in the Sigma range, there is no every lens have that, and also you have to buy a Sigma USB adapter to use that, so it's a little bit more, to invest. So the fifth feature which I like is about the f-stop. Although it's a manual lens, and you manually correct the focus, f-stops is controlled by a camera, which is brilliant feature when you shoot in a time-lapse photography using QDSLR dashboard. It's a special application which can control f-stop, control ISO, and control shutter inside your camera, and you can shoot a great time lapses like day to night or night to day, as we call them, holy grail time lapses. Let me talk a little bit about astro. Okay, in the astrophotography world, everybody will tell you that f4 is not the best lens for the astro work, because the best lens start from f2.8 and faster, like 2.0, 1.8 and things like that. Why is that? Because you have to have a faster lens to have more light in a short amount of period of time. It's all controlled by control. It's all depends on the rule of 500. So you take the your lens focal length and you divided it by 500. 500 by the focal length of your lens. For example, let's take you shoot in a 50 millimeters lens. You divide 500 by 50 millimeters and you got 33. 33 seconds is the time limit where you have to shoot your astrophotography without having a result of moved stars, like a dot with the lines. So if you shoot within the 33 seconds in a 50 millimeters lens, you will be safe. So to go over this, you have to bump the ISO from 3200 to 640 and so on and so on. So introducing the noise. So technically, as faster lens, as best, it's for astrophotography. But with this lens, it's a little bit different because it's 11 millimeters. And if you do the math, 500 divided by 11, it will be 45 seconds. Meaning that in a 45-second time, I have an interval of 45 seconds to shoot stars without the movement. 45 seconds is a pretty good time limit, and I can have more light in that period of time, even with f4 and even with the lower ISO. So technically, it's also a great lens for the astrophotography, despite the f4 mark on that. And I think it's when the engineer designed this, they maybe thought about that as well. So instead of doing this, producing this lens in f.28, which is, I'm not sure if it's physically possible, or the lens will be like that and heavy like a tank, they stick to f4, and understanding that even in the astrophotography world, f4 with the 11 millimeters with the rule 500 will be a brilliant lens. So I really highly recommend this as for astro as well. So let me talk about the things which I don't really like. To be honest, there is no many things like that. I mean, honestly, there is no great things which I don't like. There's a small, nitpicking things which I don't like, but again, it's just a nitpicking. Let's say, for example, the cap, the back cap. It's a little bit strangely designed, and it's not fit easily to every other lens. And so imagine you're on a location and you want to fit, you take away this cap, you fit on another lens which you used, and you put this one on the camera. But this one is just, oh my god, I do it better than in any other lens, but now you see, so it's a little bit complicated for me, which is again not a big deal, absolutely not big. It's just saying that things which I could be a little bit improved or easily improved in the version 2, but again, it's not a big deal or deal breaker. Another thing, I don't know, again, if we nitpicking, and I'm just stretching this out, but I don't know, maybe a hardness of this unlock and lock mechanism, but again, not a big deal. For me personally, just this cup is great. It's holding everything, you know, it's just, you know, it's good, you know, good cup, but front cap, but sometimes it leaves mark like this, and you have to, you know, scratch. No performance issue degraded by these marks. It's just, you know, me personally, I don't like, you know, I like clean lens and everything. I have to like scratch, you know, like clean this all the time. When I see those marks, it's just, you know, bugging me. But again, not even close to a deal breaker, not even close. Everything else is perfect. I mean, the build quality, the sharpness, the use of this lens, the absolutely wide 126 degrees, you know, field of view. Everything screams professional, solid, and a great value of this lens, because it's cost not so much. Again, the weight, the length, you know, like of this lens is so, it's brilliant. You know, if you dealt with wide angle lens, you expect this to be, you know, heavy, you know, huge, you know, glass, you know, lens and everything. But this one, you know, you will appreciate the, you know, like smallness, if there is an word like that in English, smallness of this lens, and how, you know, how light it is. Okay, so I highly recommend this lens for landscape usage, for cityscape, for architectural, and for the astrophotography. And I hope you will find my review useful, and thank you so much.